So in China, there's this dessert called yanwo, a cold soup made from melted birds' nests collected from deep inside caves. After they've been cleaned and cooked, the nests taste as sweet as it is medicinal, and my culture believes that the soup it makes can heal anything, from a cold to a cancer. Side note, these particular birds make the entire nest from their own solidified saliva. Meaning, someone right now in China, or my mother at home, is scooping a mouthful of repurposed bird loogie for a sick child to swallow superstition into recovery. Ain't that a fitting description for poetry? This art form that saves lives and promotes growth, but no one knows except those who've lived long enough to thank the author that saved them. See, I remember a time when I was so lost, I almost confused a dead end for a fresh start. So I dared the kitchen knife to carve a finish line into my wrist until my poetry coach dug deep into the cave of my depression, found me covered in my own saliva and tears, told me I was not a failed mission, told me that I could channel my survival into something that feeds someone who needs to hear what I have to say. So now I literally spit a poem and heal a crowd. My tribulations repurposed with responsibility to stage. I step on a plate of what I have to offer. I slobber soliloquies of survival. I drool depression into honeydew. I know how the sweetness comes from a bitter past, so you humbly accept the morning sun with both hands. Like every day that I am alive is a prayer I answered for myself, and a night spent crying was just vocal practice for finding my voice. And my father is always losing his. There's some nights he gets so angry he couldn't speak. So I learned his presence by the things he'd break, for the voice he'd crack, trying to teach me how to survive. When I didn't listen, I'd yell back at him louder and louder and louder until I too became a spitting image of his trauma. And this is as close to getting to know my father as I will ever get. To be an immigrant in America is to be a caged bird singing swan songs in broken English. But how grateful am I to turn my blood into blessings, to tread the wings of my ancestors' scars like moments before a hug. Each feather plucked from my body leaves enough blood, sweat, and saliva to write my next poem, to lick my wounds and live another day. I survived to tell my story and the story of those before me. I remember watching the 2008 Summer Olympics on TV. When China was given the bid to host the Olympics in Beijing, they designed a stadium in the shape and structure of the bird's nest used for yanwo. And for an entire month, the bird's nest stadium hosted world peace in its belly, where every country chose a carnival over carnage. And I wonder, if a swallow flew from its nest, turned its head towards the mainland, would it recognize the temple it inspired from its own spit?